Hello, this is a response to Brett Keane and his call to agnostics to debate on agnosticism versus atheism in a theological and more finite standpoint. First, I want to say that this is more a game of semantics than a game of religious theologies by the way that you opened the debate. You opened it with dictionary definitions and making blanket statements about all atheists versus all agnostics. Now, according to the new Oxford American Dictionary, atheism is the belief or theory that God does not exist. You are more on the theory side than the belief side. Some people are on the belief side. The fact is there are rigid atheists and there are more fluid atheists, and there are rigid agnostics and more fluid agnostics. But I think everybody, by general definition, tends to lean towards belief or disbelief in a higher power. I think that is, it's impossible for a person to not have a mind toward God or away from God, or gods, in fact. I want to talk about my personal religious history. I was baptized in a Pentecostal church in southern Mississippi, and I then was an Episcopalian in Texas for most of my life. Then at 11, I went to a Unitarian Universalist church when I was supposed to be in Sunday school over at the Episcopal church, so I went to 2 church services in a day. Then I cut the Episcopal church off completely and went Unitarian Universalist. And by this point, I had converted to strong atheism. I was known to debate teacher and student alike in my 7th and 8th grade years, etc. And I even ended up turning away from the Unitarian Universalist Church because I was very embittered. But over the years, through debate, I have understood that atheism is born of embitterment in most cases. I don't think that there are a lot of organic atheists running around because it takes a lot of beating for a person to discard their most animal of instincts. Animals are instinctually superstitious. This has been proven by several strange studies like shock collars on pigs so that they won't eat too much in a slaughterhouse, and pigs will literally do a dance before they get their meal because they think that it has some basis in higher power rather than these shock collars that we know. So the pigs can't do math, but they can think God. But atheists have had this faith and this sort of childish joy in thinking of theology beaten out of them, and I certainly had it or felt it beat out of me. I felt oppressed by people, so I thought it was my right and my duty to assert to them that there was or was probably not a God. I then converted to agnosticism when I was about 16, and started to think more along the lines of, I don't want to have anything to do with theology ever again. I had been around the corner a few times in terms of debating people and almost gotten into fistfights, and just it was not a happy chapter in my life. So I decided instead to focus on myself and what I understood to be real, rather than what I did not know whether or not was real. And I can't say definitively that it cannot be proven. I'll say definitively that it has not been proven, or has not been proven to me at least. The belief in existence or non-existence of God, I think, is frankly a selfish one. By definitively saying there must be or there must not be a God, you are saying that you yourself are smart enough to understand the mind of God. And that's a pretty bold statement coming from any human being on the planet. I don't think anyone can understand the mind of something that's supposed to be so much beyond us. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on what I've had to say, and I invite you to watch my other videos on theology if you have any interest at all. I want you to know that in my belief, and in fact, well, what I believe to be fact, is there is no definitive theology, only theory. And this is what we were looking at, and that's why it's so much fun to talk about theology, because we can get into these abstract concepts and debate over things that neither of us can really prove. I'd love to hear your point of view, and from the whole damn nation, peace and pieces.